So when should you file for Social Security benefits? This is a very important question because once you file for your benefits, you can't go back and make changes. You're locked in for life. Now, unless you're a widow, you can get benefits as early as 62. So normal retirement benefits can start at 62, but those are considered early retirement benefits. And there are some reductions for taking it early. So there are some penalties and reductions, so you might not want to do that. But normal retirement age, if you're born after 1960, normal retirement age is age 67. If you're born before 1960, then it could be anywhere from 65 to 66 and a handful of months, but after 1960 is 67. Now what that means is on your Social Security statement, you have something called a primary insurance amount that we've already talked about, and that PIA is going to pay 100% of that amount at age 67, or your full retirement age. Taking it early is a reduction from that. Taking it later, up to potentially as late as age 70, you get extra benefits for taking it later. So when should you take? You got from 62 to 70 to choose from. Now studies show that for every year you delay taking Social Security income, you get the equivalent of an 8% rate of return on your money. That's pretty good, considering this is the guaranteed retirement income source, one of the best retirement income sources that we can have. 8% on your money for each year you wait. So, if all else being equal, waiting until 70 financially could be the obvious choice. But it's not quite that simple. And that's because there's a lot of qualitative, even though quantitatively waiting till 70 may be the best, make the best financial sense, qualitative things like your personal health, your life expectancy, based on your family history, whether you just maybe need the money earlier. There are other factors that come into play for whether you should take it early or not, or even take it at the normal age or not. So another factor that I like to discuss is, Social Security is not something that you can pass down to your heirs. Your spouse can potentially get Social Security benefits off of your check. However, you can't pass it down to any future heirs or charities or anywhere you may want to leave excess money. So what that means is if you were to say retire at 67 but wait until 70 to take Social Security benefits, well then you got to pay for those 3 years out of pocket from other sources like your IRAs or pensions or annuities or something. So you're paying for your just basic living expenses from your own sources, and these sources could potentially pass down to your heirs, but you're kind of waiting on the thing that can't pass down while you're depleting the things that can pass down. So that may not make a ton of sense. So it may make more sense to maybe take benefits at 67 if you retire at 67. That way you're not spending as much from your personal sources, and they're able to maybe keep building for the long run, keep building for bigger, broader goals like charities or future inheritance or grandchildren or something like that. So there are a lot of good reasons, I think, for taking it early. That include your personal health and financial reasons, inheritance reasons, and things of that nature. But as far as when you should take it, so let's say if 100% of your benefits you can get at age 67, waiting until age 70, that's about another 30% or so benefits, and taking it early is about a 30% reduction. So let's say if you were supposed to get a $2,000 check at age 67, if you took it at 62, that check could be as low as about $1,400 per month instead of $2,000. In contrast, if you took it later, at the latest you could take it at maybe age 70, then that same check could be about $2,600. So we're looking from $1,400 to $2,600, and that's a swing that is basically up to you to determine, where you want to take it, when you want to take it, and if that makes sense to you or not. But once you start, you can't go back and make any changes. Now let's say that me and my neighbor were the same age, and let's say that he starts benefits at 62 and I start benefits at 67. So he's going to be taking benefits for 5 whole years before I even start. So at some point, even though my check is going to be bigger, but it starts later, at some point, our two trajectories are going to cross, and this is considered the break-even point. So at what point financially will I pass him or potentially overtake him, all else being equal? In general, now everybody's numbers are a little bit different, but in general, that age, that break-even point age from early retirement to normal retirement age is about 78. The break-even point from normal retirement age, which is 67, and late retirement, which is 70, that break-even is about 82. So if you think you may live past 82, then financially speaking, it may make the most sense from the quantitative standpoint to take benefits later at age 70. But these are just a few of the things that go into consideration when you should take your benefits. Most people, about 40% of people, take it at age 62, which is no surprise considering the skepticism for the Social Security system. I think taking it around the time you retire may make sense, but that's to be definitive on that. I think it should fit into a broader financial plan, and just to make sure that all your sources of retirement income are working collectively in your best interest. So kind of matching all that up with your future expenses is very important, but those are just some considerations when it comes to taking your Social Security income benefits.